Hey guys, Frankie Tech Lord Taylor. I know I haven't been on the videos, haven't been putting the videos out, but we have been working on the project. So what I want to talk about today is the camera subsystem that I've been working on. It's something that I've always wanted in a game, and so I took the opportunity to build a custom camera system that I think will be useful for game developers who want to allow the player to experience their vision from multiple perspectives inside the game world and allow the player to actually control that perspective. So I call this camera system the V8 camera system. The V8 stands for the 8 vantage points that are common in video games, from first-person shooter to third-person, top-down, side-scroller, and several others. This is the V8 camera system. So there's a couple of concepts that I built on when I was putting this camera system together. And the first concept that I like to talk about is the view target. So there's interpolation. There's both positioning interpolation and rotation interpolation that are part of this system. And the idea is that you can mount a view target to anything, to any static or skeletal mesh, and use that static or skeletal mesh to actually control the movement of the camera. You can attach this camera to any of those actors. Another aspect of this, I kind of jumped ahead. So the idea is that you have a mount, and that is the position of the camera. So you can position the camera on a stationary or moving actor, static mesh. So you can mount this anywhere. So that's the idea. First concept I want to get out there is the idea of the mount, where you actually position the camera. And then the second concept is going to be called the focus, and that's going to be the object that the camera focuses on or follows. So that the mount controls the position and the focus controls the rotation of the camera. So that's the two concepts that we built on when we put this camera system together. Another thing that I wanted to do was to not only allow the player to control the perspective of the character from the game world, I also wanted to support volumes, where you can put a camera, or view target is what we refer to them as, anywhere inside of a volume, and when a collision occurs or overlap occurs on the volume, the camera is activated. So let me run this here so I can show you what's going on. We do have a default character for the camera system. It is a portable system. I intend to publish this in the marketplace. So it is portable, and we're designing all the subsystems like that so that we can have the potential to use it in other projects and also publish in the marketplace. So right here, I've set this up for the character that we're going to have in the game, Sanctity Lost, and right now the game is actually going to be played from first person, or true first person perspective. So let's get to that true first person perspective. And that, of course, is the camera mounted to the body. And how this character is designed, let's see if we can bring it up here. Actually, I want to use we actually have a character that will come with the system here. It's a modular character, and the reason for that is that we wanted to be able to turn the visibility off and on for different parts of the body, for what the player to clear or turn or hide that part of the body from the camera, so it's not interfering with the camera. So here is the character, and to set up your view targets for the character, you're going to use spring arms. And we use spring arms for everything, even to attach to the body for the true first-person camera. And these spring arms have a naming convention that basically we strip off the first portion of that and we assign the names of these view targets with the second portion of the name. And there's a tag that's also used to identify spring arms that are going to be registered to the system. All right. So let's get back in here and start playing. All right, so we have our character, we're running. So I'm going to affix the camera to this rotating spear. And what this allows you to do, instead of trying to control the movement of the camera itself, we actually attach this camera to any moving object and control the movement that way. This allows for some very complex movement with the camera system. Let's see. Over the shoulder view here, I'm going to fix this camera to this moving target right here. And you can switch between focus view target and the mount view target at any time. This probably would be limited or disabled in the game world, some form of fashion, but for the system, it's going to be open to the developer's choice on how they want to use it. These view targets that you affix to these different actors, these mesh actors, they're static. These different view targets that they're temporary as far as they have a limited life and then they delete themselves. So that may be a mechanism you can use. You can also set it to an infinite life by making it -1 or below. So this here, let's see here what I want to talk about. All right, so we got our different positions, and the whole idea of the camera system is to just smoothly transition from any viewpoint that the player is in. And we actually have these created 8 points. So let's start with the first one. Let's get back to that. True first person, which is attached to the head of the character mesh. We have first person, which the camera is located where the head is, but it's not attached, so it kind of floats. This is the first person. We have over the shoulder view, which is kind of common in games, so I like that perspective sometimes, so we want to be able to transition from there. ADS, which is aim down sight, and the idea is that this viewpoint or view target is going to be attached to the weapon. But we actually, here we have it attached to the character's hand that's holding the weapon. And the idea is to adjust that view target based on the aim down sight that you want for the weapon. That's the idea behind that. All right. And we have side scrolling, or the perspective that would be used for side scrolling. We have right side and left side. We also have the front rear view, or I might rename this to selfie view, but this is the view in front of the player. This comes in handy for different scenes that you would like to have. All right, then we have the traditional third-person perspective, which is, the camera position behind the player a certain length, and this here, we also have, let's see, top down position, where the concept of mount and focus comes in real handy with these different perspectives, because in this case here we have the one of the first person mounts is actually the focus point of the top down mount. So the idea of focus, of mount and focus, is really useful and an easy way to think about how to control the camera. And this just allows really complex maneuvering and movement of the camera by attaching the camera to different moving objects. Now, you may want to hide these objects in the game, of course, but allow the collision to still be active so that you can procedurally attach to these surfaces or manually. I like the manual ability to do this. This allows for some pretty cool perspectives in the game with your character. Now let's go in. I support volumes. We have a volume system. I opted to use static meshes for two reasons. One, you can have very simple or very complex collision. You can create that collision with the static mesh editor inside the Unreal Engine editor. So this allows for very complex shapes. You can have very complex shapes with static meshes. Another advantage to using static meshes is that you can use materials for different visualization. Here I'm using a wireframe type material, but I can use any material. So you can use this to visualize the actual volume itself, which comes in handy for whatever you want to use that for. And so I have this mesh here that's very complex, but I have the collision set up to support it, and it's very. I think this is a very using static meshes offer more advantages than just a collision object. All right, so this is the V8 system, guys. I think it's going to be powerful and very useful for developers if they. We're going to try to get it in the marketplace, the Unreal marketplace. Don't know if they're accepted. We've been rejected on a couple of products that they just said they didn't like. So I say let the game developers be decide that themselves. We do design the code to be very neat and clean. We also have to take in consideration with this camera system multiplayer use. One of the things I have to think about here is how multiple players will share the perspectives when they're entering volumes. Do we want all the players to see the same perspective at the same time, or do we so it'd be the first come first serve type deal? So the first player in the volume would just make the decision on what perspective all the players see, or do we handle that on a per player basis? And how this would work, basically we would generate or spawn a view target for each player, so that if the camera's following that player from a certain position mount, it can maintain that until the player leaves the volume. So we're looking at how we want to put that together. Might support both. I think supporting both just gives us more flexibility and more features that we could say that the system supports. But I'm gonna have to work on the ADS a little bit. I think that's a popular perspective in games now. So we want to definitely support that. But we're gonna make the mechanism really simple. Either the view target is positioned on is mounted to the weapon, or we generated that view target in real time to find the position of the view target, and then use the view target or the ADS mount that we have attached to the player, adjust that manually. So it's something I'm thinking about. Anyway, just let you know that we have been working on the project, and we've been silent, but this year we put a lot of focus on, because I personally think it's underutilized as far as the camera. The camera's underutilized, so we definitely want the camera to be exciting for the game world. And we think having a system, I believe that having a system like this would be just more fun for the player, especially when we start moving the character on vehicles and things of that nature. It's going to be fun to have the camera shaking around and, moving real smoothly from one point to another, so that you can experience this without the immersion being broken. Because basically the player's experience is through the eyes of the camera. So treating the camera with some respect is what we're trying to do. Give it the justice that it needs. I don't want to just lock the player into a first-person perspective if they really want to take advantage of other vantage points and look at the game world from different angles. And then again, you could lock the player into a certain perspective at your will. But this system will support all of that, and that's what the V8 system, V8 cam system is all about. Anyway, guys, to next time, take it easy and hope everybody's doing well. Thank you.